Just a minute. Okay, we are dealing with the transpiration chapter, especially the mechanism of transpiration. We have seen in the previous chapter the loss of water in the form of water vapors from the aerial parts of the plant body is called as transpiration. And when we want to study mechanism of transpiration, we need to study the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata, because when stomata are open, transpiration takes place through these pores, and when stomata are closed, transpiration is absent. And different hypotheses are proposed from time to time. In the very last lecture, we studied about Stewart's hypothesis proposed by scientist Stewart in 1964. Today, we are going to discuss about potassium pump hypothesis, K plus pump, potassium pump hypothesis proposed by scientist Leavitt in 1974 to explain the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. Okay, so this is also called as stomatal movement or diurnal movement, because it is a day-night movement. During daytime, in presence of light, stomata are open, whereas during night time, in darkness, stomata are closed. So this is called as stomatal movement. And today's topic of our discussion is potassium pump theory or active K plus transport mechanism. It is also called as active potassium transport mechanism or potassium pump theory or Leavitt hypothesis proposed by scientist Leavitt in the year 1974 to explain the mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. Now, in the very previous lecture we discussed, we'll briefly review the structure of stomata. We know that it consists of two specialized epidermal cells known as guard cells, which are surrounded by 3 to 4 neighboring or surrounding normal epidermal cells called as subsidiary cells or accessory cells. Then there is the presence of nucleus, then cytoplasmic organelles containing chloroplast. Then its walls are specialized. Outer wall is thin and elastic, whereas inner wall is thick and non-elastic, that we have studied. Well, there is at the very center, there is a central cavity or pore respiratory cavity known as the central cavity or stomium. Okay. And in the opening of stomata, in the very previous hypothesis called as Stewart's hypothesis, we studied that sugar is responsible, especially glucose and inorganic phosphate. According to Stewart's, this glucose and inorganic phosphate, these two substances together increase the osmotic concentration of the cell sap of guard cells, and therefore its OP, osmotic pressure or diffusion pressure deficit, osmotic concentration of guard cell increases. But here, according to this hypothesis, instead of glucose and inorganic phosphate, you can see here, this potassium malate is responsible, and this is the soluble substance which increase the osmotic concentration. So in one sentence, in one line, what is the Leavitt hypothesis? Leavitt hypothesis is that potassium malate is responsible for increasing the osmotic concentration of guard cells. This is a single line hypothesis of Leavitt. According to Stewart's, glucose and inorganic phosphate are responsible, these sugar are responsible for increasing the osmotic concentration. But according to Leavitt, potassium malate, now how that substance is formed, that we are going to discuss later on. But at this stage, you remember, you see that a single line hypothesis of Leavitt is that potassium malate is responsible for increasing the osmotic concentration of the cell sap of guard cells, and therefore its osmotic concentration increases or its DPD increases, osmotic pressure increases, and therefore it absorbs water from the surrounding cell, accessory cells by endosmosis process. Guard cells become turgid. Due to turgidity, their walls get stretched due to increase in turgor pressure. The outer wall is thin and elastic, so it gets easily stretched outward. So at the same time, it also tries to stretch the inner wall towards itself, but as the inner wall is thick and non-elastic, it just becomes concave at the place, and stomata becomes open during daytime, that we studied in the very last lecture. So this happens during daytime. Now, what happens during nighttime according to Levitt? Starch, in so the same hypothesis. Starch is accumulated during nighttime as there is no photosynthesis during nighttime, so carbon dioxide increases, and therefore by subsequent event there is formation of starch, and this starch is insoluble, so it decreases the osmotic concentration of cells of guard cells, that is osmotic pressure or DPD of guard cell decreases, so it loses water by exosmosis to the neighboring cells. Their cells become flaccid, and due to flaccidity their walls come close together due to decrease in turgor pressure. Inner walls as well as outer walls come inward, so the central cavity becomes closed during nighttime. So what we have discussed up till now, during nighttime there is accumulation of starch, and during daytime there is formation of what? Potassium malate substance, potassium malate, which increases the osmotic concentration of the guard cell, and therefore by subsequent events stomata becomes open during daytime. So this is, so you can see here, so this substance you can see, this is malic acid, 4 carbon, here carbon 1 2 3 4 carbon are there, 4 carbon substance, it gets dissociated into negative malate ions. You can see here these 2 hydrogen ions or protons are released, you can see. So see here these hydrogen ions, so malic acid gets easily dissociated into positively charged ions, that is called as protons or hydrogen ions, and negatively charged ions called as malate ions, negative ions. So these are negative ions, anions, and these are cations, protons. Malic acid is a weak acid which gets dissociated into malate and 2H plus ions during daytime. Now how it happens we are going to discuss, but at this stage we just see this equation. You may not remember the structure, but for the sake of our understanding I have drawn the structure. So see, Levitt theory, Levitt hypothesis proposed by scientist Levitt in 1974. What happens during daytime? So starch during daytime gets decomposed into one substance called as phosphoenol pyruvate. Actually, this is a multi-step reaction. During the reaction, there is formation of 3 carbon substances like 3 phosphoglyceric acid, and then there is formation of phosphoenol pyruvate with the help of this enzyme. There are many enzymes, so this is a multi-step reaction. Starch is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate. This phosphoenol pyruvate then is converted into another substance called as OAA, oxaloacetic acid. Now this oxaloacetic acid is a 4 carbon compound, whereas phosphoenol pyruvate is a 3 carbon compound. So here there is addition of carbon dioxide. So this reaction is called as carboxylation reaction, which is catalyzed by this enzyme called as phosphoenol carboxylase. There is addition of carbon dioxide or carboxyl group formation is there. So PEP, which is a 3 carbon compound, is converted into OAA, oxaloacetic acid, which is a 4 carbon compound. This is just get converted into another 4 carbon compound, which is called as malic acid, Ma, with the help of this malic enzyme known as malate dehydrogenase. So this is another 4 carbon compound formed during daytime from starch inside the guard cells. Now this malic acid is a weak acid which gets easily dissociated. Just now we have seen malic acid is a weak acid. It is dissociated into H plus ions, protons, and negative malate ions inside the guard cells. Everything is happening during the daytime. Malic acid is a weak acid. It gets easily dissociated into H plus ions inside the guard cells and negative malate ions. Now what happens? The accessory cells or the subsidiary cells are considered as ion storage cells. The cells which are neighboring to the guard cells called as accessory cells store potassium ions, K plus, potassium chloride is there, K plus Cl minus ions are there. Therefore, these cells are called as ion storage cells. So the accessory cells consist of a large number of K plus ions inside them during daytime. Whereas now here there is formation of a large number of H plus ions inside the guard cells. So now guard cells are rich with H plus ions, whereas the accessory cells are rich with K plus ions. So there is exchange of ions taking place in between these two. That means the H plus ions move from guard cells towards the accessory cells. So this is outward movement. This outward movement of H plus ions from guard cells to the subsidiary cells is known as efflux. It is called as efflux, outward movement. Whereas the inward movement of K plus ions from subsidiary cells inside the guard cells is called as influx. So there is influx of K plus ion and there is efflux of H plus ions. One H plus ion moves from guard cells to the subsidiary cell. At the same time, one K plus ion comes inside the guard cell, and this happens together. So look here. So H plus is going outside and K plus is coming inside. H plus going outside, K plus coming inside. So this acts as a pump, and this pump is called as potassium pump, K plus pump. And this process is an active process. It requires energy. There is need of expenditure of metabolic energy in the form of ATP. ATP is required for this exchange. ATP is required for K plus ions to come inside and go outside. H plus ions to go outside. So whatever. So what happens? All H plus ions go outside the guard cells into the subsidiary cells, whereas K plus ions come inside the guard cells, where actually already there are negative mallet ions. So these K plus ions, potassium ions, combine with these negative mallet ions to form another substance. That substance is known as potassium mallet. And this potassium mallet, in the very beginning, I told you there's a one-line hypothesis, single-line hypothesis of Leavitt, that is potassium mallet is responsible for increasing the osmotic concentration of guard cells during daytime or in basic pH, alkaline pH of guard cells. So this potassium mallet is a soluble substance. It increases the osmotic concentration of guard cells, and then by subsequent events, that is due to increase in osmotic concentration, due to endosmosis, due to their stretching of walls, the stomata becomes open during daytime. So what we have studied? Starch is degraded during respiration into PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate. It is a multi-step, multi-enzyme process. PEP is a 3-carbon compound. It gets converted into OAA, oxaloacetic acid, which is a 4-carbon compound. With the help of this enzyme, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase, you may not remember the names of enzymes, but you at least remember the steps here. 3-carbon compound PEP is converted into 4-carbon compound oxaloacetic acid. This is carboxylation reaction, addition of carbon dioxide, addition of carboxyl group. So this 4-carbon compound OA is converted into MA, malic acid, another 4-carbon compound with the help of this malic enzyme called as malate dehydrogenase. And this is a weak acid. It dissociates into H plus ions and negative malate ions inside the guard cells during daytime. There is increase in the concentration of H plus ions inside the guard cells. Then there is ion exchange. This is an active process. K plus ions enter inside the guard cells. H plus ions go outside the guard cells. Then whatever K plus ions have entered the guard cells, they combine with the negative malate ions and they form potassium malate, a soluble substance, and it is responsible for the opening of stomata during daytime in presence of light, or in other words, you can say when the pH is basic, when the pH is alkaline, as it happens during daytime. So this is a Leavitt theory proposed by scientist Leavitt in 1974. See how the stomata becomes open. You see subsidiary cells, ion storage cells. So these blue colored ions are potassium ions, which are present in the subsidiary cells. Therefore, subsidiary cells are called as ion storage cells. Along with K plus ions, there are some Cl minus ions also, chloride ions. So to balance the charges, chloride ions move inside the guard cells passively along with K plus ions. But the movement of K plus ions inside the guard cells is active process. K plus ions go inside and these white colored H plus ions go outside. So this is an active process. So here point to mention is subsidiary cells called as ion storage cells. Then this is guard cell. Okay, and the white colored ions. Try to understand white colored ions which are present inside the guard cell. These are H plus ions which are formed due to dissociation of malic acids into H plus ions and negative malate ions. So there is presence of a large number of H plus ions inside the guard cells as well as negative malate ions during daytime inside the guard cells, whereas there is presence of these potassium ions inside the subsidiary cells or accessory cells. So you can see here blue colored ions are K plus ions, and white colored ions are H plus ions. Okay. Okay, see this movement. See what is happening. See, the K plus ions are entering inside the guard cells, and white colored H plus ions are going outside the guard cells. And this inward movement of K plus ions is called as influx. You can see here, influx of K plus ions. Influx means inward movement of K plus ions, and efflux of H plus ions means outward movement of H plus ions. You can see the white colored H plus ions are going outside, and these blue colored K plus ions are coming inside. And see, this is happening at the same time. So at this stage, at this location on the cell membrane or plasma membrane, there is presence of one symport called as H plus ATPase, and this is responsible for this movement. It is allowing H plus ions to go outside and K plus ions to come inside. So see here, one K plus ion enter inside the guard cell, and at the same time, one H plus ion go outside the guard cell with the help of ATP. So this is happening during daytime. So when H plus ion going outside and K plus ion come inside, it reacts with the negative malate ion and it forms potassium malate. So see here, during daytime, potassium malate has been formed, and this potassium malate is responsible for increasing the osmotic concentration like the sugar. So by subsequent events, the stomata becomes open. You can see here, opening of stomata during daytime due to formation of potassium malate inside the guard cells. Okay. So we have seen this starch, PEP, OA, malic acid, and potassium malate is formed during daytime, and it is responsible for the opening of stomata when the pH is basic and there is presence of daylight. Light is present. So what happens during the nighttime or dark period? So see here, we will start from here, potassium malate, which is present inside the guard cells. Now, very interesting fact. See here, hormone abscisic acid. This hormone abscisic acid is present there, which acts as the guard. It acts like a guard which is present during the night time. It is performing the duty of guard. Now, what is its duty? Now, this hormone ABA, abscisic acid, is also called as inhibitory hormone. It inhibits, it resists, it doesn't allow K plus ions to come inside the guard cells. It allows K plus ions to go outside, but it doesn't allow K plus ions to come inside. It does so by changing the permeability of the cell membrane or plasma membrane of guard cells. That means ABA is there during the daytime also, but it is not functional during the daytime, because ABA becomes functional only when there is increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide. And you have studied carbon dioxide concentration increases during daytime because there is no photosynthesis. During night time, because there is no photosynthesis during night time, and therefore whatever carbon dioxide is released during respiration, it gets accumulated inside the guard cell and surrounding areas, and therefore carbon dioxide concentration increases during night time. And when carbon dioxide concentration increases, this hormone ABA becomes functional. During daytime, as there is photosynthesis, so carbon dioxide is utilized for the process of photosynthesis. Whatever carbon dioxide is released during respiration, it is utilized by photosynthesis. It is utilized for photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide concentration decreases during daytime. So this hormone becomes non-functional. But when carbon dioxide concentration increases during nighttime, it becomes functional. It changes the permeability of cell membrane. That is, it doesn't allow K plus ions to come inside. It allows H plus ions to come inside, but it doesn't allow K plus ions. It acts as an inhibitor of K plus ions. So whatever K plus ions were there, you can see here, potassium malate is there. This potassium malate dissociates then into potassium ions and malate ions, negative malate ions. Now these potassium ions can go outside from guard cells. They can move towards the accessory cells, and H plus ions from the accessory cell can come inside in the form of a pump. The pump which constitute together the movement of K plus and H plus. So here during night time, the reverse thing is happening. K plus ions are going outside, H plus ions are coming inside due to presence of this hormone ABA. And now whatever H plus ions they have entered the guard cells, they combine with the negative malate ions, and then they form, you can see, they form malic acid. And malic acid is converted into again oxaloacetic acid with the help of same enzyme, malic enzyme, malate dehydrogenase. So this is a decarboxylation process. It forms pyruvate or phosphoenol pyruvate. Then see next step. Here, oxaloacetic acid is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate, PEP, with the help of enzyme, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. See here, enzymes are different. Here, enzyme is phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase. This is carboxylation reaction. This is carboxylation reaction catalyzed by carboxylase, whereas this is decarboxylation reaction catalyzed by another enzyme, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, in which OAA is converted into PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate, and then phosphoenol pyruvate is converted into starch during night time or in darkness or in acidic pH. And then as the starch is insoluble sugar, it decreases the osmotic concentration of guard cells, and therefore by subsequent events, the stomata becomes closed during night time. So this is the second half part of the Leavitt theory of for explaining the mechanism of closing of stomata during nighttime or darkness. So see here, closing of stomata. So see, subsidiary cells are there, guard cells, K plus ions. Now here, the difference here is ABA, abscisic acid, has started functioning during nighttime. And therefore, what is happening? See, the reverse thing is happening now. Now, K plus ions are going outside, the blue colored ions. K plus ions are moving outside. So this is called as efflux, outward movement of K plus ions now. Efflux of K plus ions from guard cells to the subsidiary cells, and the influx of H plus ions. The H plus ions are coming inside the guard cells. The white colored H plus ions are coming out inside due to presence of this hormone. So whatever H plus ions come inside, they combine with the negative malate and they form malic acid. Malic acid form oxaloacetic acid. Oxaloacetic acid form PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate, and phosphoenol pyruvate then form starch. And as starch is formed during night time, and as it is a insoluble substance, it decreases the osmotic concentration, and then by subsequent events, the stomata, you can see here, the stomata becomes closed. Okay, see here. Okay, see, can you see the closing of stomata? Can you see? Yes. See how stomata becomes closed. Yes. See here, closing of stomata. Okay. So this is Leavitt theory. We have studied, we can combine this theory. Starch is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate with the help of many enzymes, and phosphoenol pyruvate are converted into oxaloacetic acid with the help of carboxylase. During daytime, OAA is converted into malic acid with the help of malic enzyme. It is a weak acid. It dissociates into H plus and negative malate ions. Okay, and then potassium malate is formed, which increases the osmotic concentration. Stomata becomes open during daytime. During nighttime, there is presence of ABA. It becomes active in presence of increased carbon dioxide concentration. So potassium malate is converted into K plus and malate ions. K plus move outside now. H plus come inside. Reverse thing happens. Then there is formation of malic acid again formation of OAA, again formation of PEP with the help of another enzyme called as carboxykinase, which is a decarboxylation reaction. Then starch, insoluble substance is formed, and that starch is responsible for the subsequent closure of stomata when the pH is acidic or in case of darkness. So this is opening and closing of stomata according to Leavitt hypothesis proposed by scientist Leavitt in 1974. This is also called as active process. It is also called as potassium pump theory. It is also called as active proton transport. because protons are actively transported. Protons are transported outside as well as inside with the help of expenditure of metabolic energy. So this is an active process. So it is called as active proton transport concept. So these are some of the abbreviations you can see here. These substances are formed 3-PGA, DHAP during those multi-step reactions, PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate. So this is Pepsi, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase, the enzyme responsible for the daytime reaction. OAA, oxaloacetate, ATP adenosine triphosphate is converted into adenosine diphosphate. So there is expenditure of metabolic energy, ABA for abscisic acid. And this PepsiK is phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, that is catalyzing decarboxylation reaction. This enzyme is catalyzing carboxylation reaction. And MDH is malate dehydrogenase enzyme, malic enzyme. So these are some of the references I have consulted. So these are some of the original research papers also. Okay, thank you. Okay, ask your questions if any. Are there any questions?